Greetings. I'm joined once again by Brizer, and this time we're going to speak about euthanasia. Now, I saw on Twitter yesterday, it was a clip from the national broadcaster in Ireland. It looked like some sort of witch was speaking to a journalist, and she was saying that she believes Ireland has, it's been so progressive and it's done such wonderful things, for equality. It's now time, she believes, to introduce on-demand euthanasia
suicide,
or something like that.
Suicide
What is it,
by demand. I'd call it suicide by demand, except
suicide by demand, right, or murder
instead
by
of or murder by instead of sadly we're seeing an epidemic of suicide, where people are taking their own lives, right? But instead of you making that decision, the government is now. They'll give you that gentle nudge on the bridge. Over a train track, and the train kind of runs over you. They'll give you that nudge. They'll give you that push, that little push that you need to take. They want to help you on your way to committing suicide, right? But it's your decision. It's your decision. It's your choice. But the choice is there. Now, the whole argument for euthanasia is that, well, there's a lot of very sick people out there, and their lives are misery, and they're laid up in bed 24/7 in constant pain. And I can understand why people just say, "Get me out of here," because I can't. This is not life. This is, and I can understand that, But this is going further than that. This is kind of saying to all of us that, well, a lot of you are kind of worthless, you're useless eaters. So, and if you're depressed or whatever, well, there's a way out and we'll help you. And it's free, We won't even charge you for it, which is amazing. And I guarantee you, in years to come, they probably will charge you for it, This is really, this is sick stuff. Man, this is sick stuff. How can you call that progressive? Like, how can you say that's, this is a good thing? But then, they'd say, sorry, euthanasia is for the common good, It's all, we're trying to help you here. Go on, what were you saying there?
I'm just looking on Twitter, and I'm gonna reference two great guys' tweets. One guy is called Betwixt, and he said, "They impoverish you and enslave you and fuck up your life, and after that, what do? They offer you the poison pill." And there's a tweet here from a guy called Brizer, a very, very smart individual. He replied to this video clip, the aforementioned video clip, and he said, "I wonder if she'll do us all a favor and set an example to volunteer to go first." Now that's the witch who wants to bring it into Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's funny how they never say, "Well, I'm going to do this. You should do it too." They say, "It's for you." This is not for me. This is for you.
You think she'd lead by example,
Exactly. Yeah.
But
I saw the same thing with David Attenborough, well-known guy who done wildlife on the BBC, and his stuff was interesting, he was talking about the world's overpopulated, and he actually said it was an interview with the Guardian. He said we actually need a culling, and my answer to him, well, David, you and your family first, if that's the way you think. But they don't think that way. It's a kind of us and them type of situation. And for someone to get on a news program, which that clip was on RT News, to come out and say that Ireland is ready for euthanasia, who is she to say that? Who did she ask? Whose opinion did she get? This is just her own opinion.
It's almost as if she has this idea in her head that whatever she thinks is good for Ireland is what everyone should agree, Everyone should agree on that and say It's good for Ireland. So if it means that, you know, you more or less, they call it what do they call it? Assisted suicide, Brizer?
Assisted suicide, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're assisting you instead of you or someone taking their own lives, which is very sad, and we're seeing an awful epidemic of this right now, particularly young people, because they've lost all hope. There's no future or whatever, so they check out, and it's a sad, very sad. And I've got personal experience of that, and I know what it's like, and it's not good. I'll tell you that. It's devastating, actually. The effect that can have, but what the fact is, the government now they're offering you a contract here. Would you like to take the poison pill to check out? And will people do this? You know. Now, again, as I said, you know, with elderly people who got really serious health problems and in constant pain, I can maybe understand that side of it. But I think what she's directed it is towards the young, healthy people. No, don't have kids. Kill yourself instead. It's better. I saw there was a case there in Canada where this woman she was in the Canadian military. I think she was over in Iraq and she got wounded. And she came back and she was trying to get help from the government. And what did the government come back and says? Well, we can help kill you. We can help, you know, in assisted suicide. We can help you kill yourself. How about that? That's nice.
There was another case in Canada. I remember reading it a few years ago during the scandemic. It was a woman, an elderly woman. She was in a retirement home, and because of all the draconian measures, you know, the bingo was cancelled. All the meetups with the other elderly were cancelled. She just had to kind of rot in her room, and she realised this wasn't the life for her. But the Canadian government, they had a solution. She could, you know, kill herself. So this thing, when I saw this thing yesterday, I was thinking to myself, you know, this can't be real. This looks like some sort of satire. It looks like a bit of a joke. But no, this is very sincere. They have this idea that, for example, in Ireland, it's very expensive. A lot of people, and as you said, I think this is more towards the young. You know, you're not going to be able to get on the property ladder. You're not going to have a fulfilling life. You probably won't be able to have a family. I doubt you'll even be able to have a dog or cat. But the government, the wonderful, wonderful, progressive Irish government and its, you know, subcontractors who aren't Irish, you know, they have an idea. You could just go and, you know, kill yourself.
Yeah, and you can do it in a nice way. We can send you to a clinic. It reminded me of that scene, another movie actually we could review is Soylent Green. Remember that? There was a scene in Soylent Green where the old guy goes to a clinic. He checks out and they treat him very nicely, put him into his nice room, nice comfortable bed, and they have a big screen on it showing beautiful scenery and all the rest of it, and nice music. And they just stick a needle in him and off he goes, you know.
Yeah.
So people have that, you know, they're trying to say you now have a choice to kill yourself. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. People want to live. That's the choice that they make. But now they're saying that no, you can die whenever you want and we'll help you. We're here 100% behind you if you want to do that. And it's funny how they're not behind people 100% to make them live a good, prosperous, decent life. They're not interested in that. No, they want you dead. They would like you to enter into this contract so you can kill yourself. It's crazy where we're at right now. But again, I would hope that most people, not just in Ireland but everywhere, will just reject this out of hand.
Yeah, when you think of all the changes that have been brought in the last 2 decades, say, this seems to be the kind of apex That
Mhm.
it's like the government no longer needs a contingent of people who are miserable because of government policy.
Mm.
So they create the problem, but then they also give you the solution.
Yeah.
And as you said, they won't be responsible. You know, you sign on the
Sign
dotted
the dotted
line.
line. Yeah.
It'll all be nice and clean. They'll say
Yep.
it'll be painless. I don't know. Will it be painless? They'll say it will be. And, you know, they can replace you with someone else or something else.
Yeah. They've got clean hands, you see, because we didn't force you. We gave you a choice, and you chose. And again, we're talking about consent, so it comes right down to that. Choose wisely is what I'd say to people, you know. But I think they are definitely directing this towards younger people, as you say, because if you look at it now, they can't, you know, get a proper job. They can't get a house. Difficult now to get married, have kids. You know, cost of living's gone through the roof. It's very difficult for the younger generation now, and because there's the population has grown quite significantly. So that they're actually, you know, they say, well, we want to kill you off. If we don't do it with the jabs, well, we'll give you an opportunity here. We'll make an offer to you, and you can check out when you're 20, 21 years old. I mean, why not? I mean, what's the point of being here? Because it's just your life's going to be shit. So just check it out. Yeah. Fuck. This is unreal.
You know, plus you're creating carbon, and by some sort of magic that destroys
that destroys the
carbon-based life forms and a carbon-based
Yeah.
you know, biosphere. So they can guilt them into it as well. You know that if you kill yourself, then that'll reduce pollution and I'm fascinated by it though, Brizer, because you know the people behind this are the same people who are behind the scamdemic, the same people who are behind, you know, so many of the ills in modern life.
Yeah.
And yet I know they're capable of marketing this. Now, because you'd have to ask yourself, how the hell could you market the concept of convincing people to kill themselves?
Mm-hmm.
These fuckers are able to do it.
Yeah. And I'll guarantee you they make a lot of shekels out of it.
Yeah, sure.
At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, you know. You're just a product. You're a commercial entity. That's how they see us. They don't see us as men or women. They see us as commercial entities that can be tossed out like an old phone or whatever, you know.
Absolutely.
But because they can't, they have to still kind of give us a choice, so to speak. But you know, when you look at the rates of depression and what they call mental illness, you know, there's a lot of it out there, and I can understand it because it's not good. But you know, it's a matter of getting through to the young people that you always, you know, there is always a chance. You know, you've got to be the star of your own movie, so to speak, and do what you need to do, and things will work out. But if you're constantly depressed, I mean, when I look at this thing called mental illness, there's two things mainly: depression and anxiety. The reason why most people are depressed is because of things they did in their past. They said, oh, I should have done that, I could have done that, if only I did this, if only I did that. And there's that guilt thing that they carry around with them, and they get depressed. And of course, what happens then, you go to your doctor and they give you antidepressants, which are total poison. And that will drive you to suicide as well. I've seen with the you know, the leaflets they give you the information for these drugs. One of the side effects was suicide ideation, right? So they give you these antidepressants, which will drive people, a lot of people, to suicide. And a lot of the young kids are on these antidepressants. It's worse than cocaine or heroin, the amount of people who are on this, right? And then you've got the other side is anxiety, and anxiety is worrying about the future, but you don't know what the future is. We don't know what the future is. Now it looks kind of bleak when you look out the window there. You're going to go, oh God, this is not looking good. But if you let that get into you, again, you're going to be anxious, you're going to be worried, you're going to be stressed out. That takes a toll on its health. And then you go to the doctor and they give you anti-anxiety pills and all sorts of medications, which will then, if they can't get you to sign up to the euthanasia, they get you eventually. This is how insidious this whole crap system is, and what we've let into our system. We've allowed this shit to happen, unfortunately. And it has to be nipped in the bud big time. And it's going to take a major paradigm shift for people to wake up out of their slumber and get rid of these psychopaths who are running the show here. They need to go, Their time is done now, and it's time for us to start taking back our power and at least start by walking away from it anyway as one step, but not to go along with this. And everything is an offer. Everything's an offer, okay? They don't force it upon you like the jabs. They never forced it on people, although they did coerce people in a way, like they threatened, oh, you might get sacked from your job, or you can't go to the pub or social outings, or whatever, right? You can't do that, which kind of coerced people into taking it because you can't go on holidays, whatever. So people went and rolled up their arms. They willingly stuck their arm out and took the jab. And everything's, as I said, everything's an offer, and you have a right to say no. And that's where this all comes in. It's very simple, really, when you think about it. We kind of make it difficult for ourselves because it's like, well, what if this happens? What if that? No means no, and that's it. It comes right down to that. So, yes, they're pushing this one out there. Like we see, euthanasia, I believe, is legal in Switzerland and in the Netherlands, I believe. But I think that's mainly for elderly people who just can't, have no quality of life whatsoever, and they're old anyway. So, and they don't want to be a burden on their families and whatever. And I can sort of understand that, but I still don't think that. And when it comes to your life, nobody should be able to decide when you check out of here. The big man above, he's the guy who decides this,
Brizer, thank you very much for coming on. A link to Brizer's Twitter will be in the description. Until soon.